make a few comments on the report of my sister committee of County Public and Investment. I think in the last session, Mr. Speaker, it was a joint committee, and I'm happy during that session, Mr. Speaker, we were not able to look at these issues, and I know they are very busy because they have to look back for almost, Mr. Speaker, from 2013, because during the public investments, we could not look at public accounts in the last session. But I'm happy in the wisdom of the Senate, Mr. Speaker, we have seen the need to have a public investment committee. And I'm happy to, this report of 2019-2020, I'm happy with the pace at which the Public Investment Committee of this House is doing its work, led by the Deputy Party Leader of ODM, my brother and friend and neighbor, Senator Otsotsi, for the good job that he's doing, Mr. Speaker. And for us who interacted with Senator Otsotsi in the last session, he was a fiery legislator who almost angamised one of our principles, but I'm happy nowadays he's more calm. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of Amatsi Water Service Company Limited in Vihiga, Bomet Water Company Limited in Bomet County, Gusii Water and Sanitation Company Limited in Kisii, Nyamira counties, and this is where we have problems even in waterworks, Mr. Speaker. Remember, for example, Nandi, there are many shared, Mr. Speaker. Even in Nandi, we have a Lored Water and Sanitation Company that covers both Wazingishu County and Nandi and part of Lesos in Nandi's constituency. We have Kisumu Water and Sanitation Company in Kisumu County, Kwale Sewerage and Sanitation, Nyeri and Sanitation Company, Mr. Speaker, where Wamunyoro village is. Mr. Speaker, on many aspects, I want to be very clear, Mr. Speaker, on many issues. I agree that most of our, Mr. Speaker, most of our companies are on the red, water companies, even Kapsabet Water and Sanitation Company, Mr. Speaker. For example, Water and Sanitation Company is under in Nandi County, where we still depend on generators and electricity to pump water into Kapsabet town, Mr. Speaker, and its environs. We had expected that the government would expedite the construction of a Keben Dam, Mr. Speaker, which was upscaled to 24 billion Kenya shillings, Mr. Speaker. I know there are a number of dams across the country, like Tuaga Dam. There is also Karmenu Dam, Mr. Speaker. There is Posta Dam in Bomet. There is also Itare Dam in Nakuru. Chemasusu Dam was complete. We had one, the Aror and Kimwarer dams in Elgeyo Marakwet County, Mr. Speaker. We have two rivers in Wazingishu. Mr. Speaker, we have the one of Sondu Dam that was supposed to cost 40 billion, that is between Kericho, Nandi, and Kisumu counties, among other dams across the country, Mr. Speaker. So it is very important that water is life. Water should be accessible, Mr. Speaker. If a society were to reach a point that water is more expensive than soda or any other beverage, Mr. Speaker, as a society, we have collapsed. I know in northern part of the country, we still have challenges of access to water. And we remember we were being told that there is aquifer waters, especially in Turkana and that northern Pell, where we were being told up to 70 years access to underground water, to especially regions, your county like Garissa, Wajir, Mandera, among other counties in the northern frontier, Mr. Speaker, is very critical. As a society, Mr. Speaker, when you don't have water for domestic use to drink, Mr. Speaker, many years ago, there were a clamor for changes in reforms of water sector, Mr. Speaker. Even, Mr. Speaker, as we grapple with the challenges of access to water in eastern and northeastern part of this country, where ours is rain-fed, Mr. Speaker, we are lucky from where I come in Nandi. The reason why we don't have so much challenge of access to water for domestic use, drinking, and other usage is because of rain-fed kind of access to water, Mr. Speaker. In fact, even counties that border Indian Ocean, Mr. Speaker, there was even a proposal of Mzima Springs that is not sufficient. We need desalination of, because the auction water has salt, Mr. Speaker. Those are some of the access to create water in these areas, Mr. Speaker. But yeah, can you believe living in Nairobi is like living in some eastern or northern eastern of this country? Because, Mr. Speaker, water only appears in Nairobi like medicine, Mr. Speaker. No one is sure. That is why the thriving business of water bowsers in this city, Mr. Speaker, where at the moment there are many water bowsers. Even in yours, when you drive in the Nairobi roads, Nairobi streets, Mr. Speaker, you will always spot water bowsers. It's a booming business. Because, Mr. Speaker, I don't know it was by default or by design, where the supply of water has collapsed in this city, Mr. Speaker.